And thanks so much for tuning into the trade setup. It's Monday morning on the eve of a very packed week from multiple perspectives, including, of course, what will happen to the markets. But there is lots of news flow. Now, first, quick rewind: the U.S. markets ended slightly soft, if you will, on Friday's session, about 2/3% down for the Nasdaq and about 1/3% for the Dow and the S&P. So these markets didn't do all that great. Maybe it has a bit of a repercussion for our markets, but let's wait and watch. The global news flow. US consumer year-ahead inflation expectations are the lowest since 2021, if that helps sentiment. But Goldman says that markets are too optimistic on the pace of the US inflation drop. Well, figures, if the US consumer expectations are anything to go by. So it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, and no one knows what will blink first. Will it inflation come off quicker, or will it actually stay higher for longer? In other news, and very important news from our perspective, Prime Minister Modi will visit the US from June 20th to 24th, following up with a visit to Egypt. But this will be important for the bilateral meetings and some idea of the strength of the Indo-US ties, which are looking very, very strong, by the way, the strongest from the looks of it in the last few years, if you will. India, of course, in the subsequent visit to Egypt, weighing a barter trade with Egypt in credit line talks, as per Reuters. And this would be important as well. If there is a rupee-denominated trade in any fashion, it just helps from our on multiple counts, right? And for anybody who wants to understand how important this will be, BQ Prime did an interview with Charles Gab of Gavical Research. You can, on our platform, on YouTube, wherever you go and search for it. He talks about how the terms of trade changing on oil purchase and subsequently on other things will really make India or Indian markets or Indian economy from being a cyclical one to a structural one. It's a hypothesis, but it's an interesting one. Nevertheless, so what's the trade setup therefore for the day looking like today? Well, the short covering at the 18,700 strike and strong put writer additions at 18,750 and 18,800 strikes aided the rally and augur well. It just shows the confidence of the put writers on the kind of movement that is anticipated in the market. If you're betting so much on 18,750 and 18,800 as well, just goes to show how strong it is. Now, usually viewers, as the market moves higher, the 100, 200 point lower strike anyways keeps on getting addition. But just the pace of additions that have happened at these strikes is very interesting, really. The Bank Nifty has shared a 1% uptick, by the way, on Friday, but to my mind is still anemic. It's not looking as strong as the Nifty. We were talking about it the whole of last week as well, and there's a bit of a surprise move, to be honest. Friday second half for the markets at large, led by the Bank Nifty, but difficult to see or difficult to say that that will continue. In fact, Dr. C.K. Narayan in his column for the weekend also talks about the same thing, about how the Bank Nifty's leadership mantle is now kind of not quite visible there. The good part is that the VIX consistently is declining, down by 2.17% to close at 10.84. I think the 1-year low is about 9.9. But independent of the percentage move up, 1 or 2% here and there, VIX being lower is also aiding this sentiment around here. Now, there's a lot of short covering led moves that happened in Friday's session. For example, in some of the liquid names, JK Cement was up about 3.9%, and the OI change was about 21%. This is over a 5-day period, by the way. IEX up 2.6%. There's 20% reduction in short covering. Deepak Nitrite up 7.9%. That's 16% reduction in OI. So a lot of short covering led moves also happening in some stocks. And IEX, of course, was in news for more reasons than one, including that whole decoupling drama that played out. Flows are positive on Friday, 3,085 crores worth of buying by FIIs. DI is selling about 300 crores. So lots happening in the markets, and therefore today's session becomes important. We don't have as many Qs per se, but individual stocks could do well. So there are a few stocks going ex-dividend. You've got to keep them on your radar. Automobile Corporation of India, 15 rupees per share dividend. Craftsman Automation, 11.25. HUL, 22 rupees per share. Each of these go ex-dividend today. Today, and therefore become important. Now, I'm not quite brought out Manappuram Finance. That probably remains the key stock to watch in the session today, viewers. I haven't given graphics for it, but the point to notice when it comes to Manappuram Finance, yeah, right here, is the court has quashed the complaint against the promoter. MGFL updated an exchange filing. The Kerala High Court, in its order dated 15 June, quashed the complaint filed against the promoter by an individual regarding acceptance of deposits at erstwhile promoter entity Magro prior to 2012. This is a positive development according to Morgan Stanley and could remove the existing overhang on the stock. I believe they have an overweight rating with the target price of 160. So that tells you a thing or two about what this could mean for Manappuram Finance. The current price is 125. The stock was up about 5%. Maybe there's more in store, so do watch out for that. Then Interglobe Aviation. Airbus is set to announce a 500 jet Indigo order. Indigo and Airbus, as per Bloomberg, are moving to announce the accord as early as Monday, which is today, and therefore Interglobe Aviation would certainly be in focus. Dr. Reddy's Labs could be in focus. USFDA has completed a GMP inspection at the API manufacturing facility in Bolaram, Hyderabad. The inspection was conducted from June 12 to June 16. The inspection closed with 0 observations. This is a big net positive, I would reckon. So Dr. Reddy's could react positively. Castrol, the company, and Mahindra Insurance Brokers have signed an agreement to distribute insurance policies, relevant insurance policies, or eligible insurance policies at Castrol Auto Service workshops. These workshops will be able to register as cashless claim sites with insurance companies as well. And the beauty of having a distribution network is that independent of what your own business is doing, the distribution network allows you to do multiple other things. Now, this may not be a big positive in the very short term. Could it turn out to be a big positive in the long term? Maybe. I mean, Castrol is a very rich distribution tech network. Does it really play a part in insurance policies per se for auto insurance, relevant insurance policies? Sure. In general, I don't know. But it's not a bad thing to use. I was pretty impressed by it, really. I may be wrong. First, a standard disclaimer that the Adani Group owns about 49% stake in Quintillion Business Media, which is the owner of BQ Prime, which is the platform on which you are watching this broadcast. Now, the Adani Group stocks, 3 of them are in focus, or 2 of them are in focus for multiple reasons. Firstly, Adani Enterprises and IRCTC both are in focus. Adani's unit, Adani Digital Labs, has signed a share purchase agreement to acquire 100% stake in Stark Enterprises. Stark Enterprises, also known as Trainman, is an online train booking and information platform. Now, this is a deep-pocketed behemoth making an entry into what was largely IRCTC's domain. It is a high-growth area, so positive for Adani Enterprises, though it's a small thing, I presume, at the current stage from Adani's perspective. But for IRCTC, could it be viewed as competition and serious competition? Maybe. So could be interesting. So just monitor this space, not necessarily from today's move perspective, but a more relevant thing from Adani Enterprises, the stock, as well as for GMR Infra, the stock, is that there is a surge in domestic air travel. Mumbai International Airport has surpassed the traffic seen pre-COVID. Now, this is a positive for Adani Enterprises because under Adani Enterprises is the entity Adani Airports Holdings, which owns Mumbai International Airport. I would reckon this could be happening at other airports too. And hence, the 2 ways to play airport operators in India, which is Adani Enterprises and GMR Infra, both come to focus. Adani Port and GPPL are also in focus because Gujarat port companies have resumed operations in part or in significant manner post the cyclone, and therefore both of these stocks also remain in focus. Then some deal-based things or purchases that happen. So Kalyan Jewelers, there was a large bulk deal, as viewers would remember, on Friday. Heidel Investment, owned by Warburg Pincus, sold about 6.2% stake in Kalyan. The buyers, interesting set of buyers: BNP Paribas, Franklin Templeton, Nomura India, and DSP Mutual Fund amongst the buyers. So watch out for these. Some brokerage recommendations: emphasis has been cut to an underperform at Macquarie, price target 1510 rupees. M&M Financial has been raised to a buy at HSBC, price target 360 rupees. Now, what I've, one more brokerage recommendation, by the way, viewers, is a Kotak upgrade on JSPL. We know that metals are in a strong suit. We've spoken about that all of last week as well. And they continue to move well. Now, Kotak has upgraded JSPL to a buy from a reduce. I think it's a double upgrade of sort. From whatever little I remember of the note that I read early morning today, it said that it provides the best risk reward in the coverage universe that Kotak has. Now, everything from a Tata Steel to a JSW Steel to the pellets players like Godavari Power as well as Sham Metallics have all done well. JSPL too would have done well in the last week. The point is, there's a big upgrade that has come in, and therefore you might want to monitor this stock in today's session as well. Some trading recommendations from ICICI Securities. Please do your own due diligence before you go out and try and trade these. But we should bring it to you. So I'm just bringing these recommendations to you. ICICI says on Power Grid that it may continue its positive momentum and test 255 levels. They say power stocks are finding fresh traction. The long wires remain almost unchanged in ICICI despite the stock witnessing some profit booking in the May series, by which they are trying to say that the bulls continue to remain constructive. The recent pickup in the stock in January, it was led by delivery-based buying that strengthens their positive bias. So do watch out for Power Grid in case it reacts. This is the recommendation that ICICI has. They have I think, a negative view on Hero MotoCorp. The current market price is, of course, 2843. They believe the stock is likely to move towards the 2680 levels. They say that they observe that it's failed to sustain above its key resistance area of 3000. It has corrected more than 5% from the recent highs, and the long unwinding was seen as OI was down by about 20%. So a combination of these factors makes them believe that Hero could be corrective in the short term. So do watch out for that. As per PTI, Bernstein has a note on RIL. I don't have the note, or we don't have the note at BQ Prime as yet, but PTI says that Bernstein is saying that Reliance may earn nearly $10 to $15 billion from its new energy business spanning solar to hydrogen by 2030, but will need acquisitions or partnerships to make up for the limited expertise in technology. And that's a good cash flow or earnings that Reliance get from new energy, and therefore do watch out for that. There's also a brokerage coverage of Nomura on 5-star business finance. I think the price is about 600. Their target is 750. So that's about a 25% uptick that they believe. They didn't have coverage, and now they've given a buy with a target price of 750. So watch out for 5-star business finance as well. So that's the long and short of the trade setup today, viewers. Lots of pockets to monitor. Keep an eye out on metals for sure. Banks have shown an uptick, but the bank Nifty is still not in the leadership position. Nifty is much better than the bank Nifty, and therefore don't quite know how long this bank Nifty strength could last. There's a surprise show of strength on Friday. Let's see if that continues. NBFCs, metals, real estate maybe remain the more dominant pockets in terms of trade in the very short term. Thanks so much, though, for tuning into the trade setup. It's a clutch of conversations that we have on BQ Prime today. Vinay Jain, MD of the PMS at JM Financial Services, will be joining in with his thoughts. So do tune in for that. And of course, a clutch of trading conversations with my colleagues as well during the course of the day. Thanks so much for tuning in.